Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The act of determining the properties of something, usually by research or calculation. Something that is found. The findings in the gastrointestinal tract indicate that he died several hours after dinner. The decision of a court on issues of fact or law. The act of making up your mind about something. A position or opinion or judgment reached after consideration. Satisfied with the panel's determination. The quality of being determined to do or achieve something, firmness of purpose. His determination showed in his every movement. The act of determining the properties of something, usually by research or calculation. The determination of molecular structures. Deciding or controlling something's outcome or nature. The determination of grammatical inflections. The act of discovering something. A productive insight. Law. Compulsory pretrial disclosure of documents relevant to a case. Enables one side in a litigation to elicit information from the other side concerning the facts in the case. Something that is discovered. The act of discovering something. Come upon, as if by accident, meet with. We find this idea in Plato. Discover or determine the existence, presence, or fact of. Come to believe on the basis of emotion, intuitions, or indefinite grounds. I find him to be obnoxious. Perceive or be contemporaneous with. Get or find back. Recover the use of. Accept and make use of one's personality, abilities, and situation. My son went to Berkeley to find himself. Make a discovery. Receive a specified treatment, abstract. These aspects of civilization do not find expression or receive an interpretation. A productive insight. Establish after a calculation, investigation, experiment, survey, or study. Find the product of two numbers. Make a discovery, make a new finding. Get something or somebody for a specific purpose. Decide on and make a declaration about. Find someone guilty. Come upon after searching. Find the location of something that was missed or lost. Did you find your glasses? Obtain through effort or management. Perceive oneself to be in a certain condition or place. Succeed in reaching. Arrive at. The act of discovering something. The removal of covering. A tangible and visible entity. An entity that can cast a shadow. The goal intended to be attained, and which is believed to be attainable. The sole object of her trip was to see her children. A tangible and visible entity. An entity that can cast a shadow. It was full of rackets, balls and other objects. Be averse to or express disapproval of. My wife objects to modern furniture. Computing. A discrete item that provides a description of virtually anything known to a computer. In object-oriented programming, objects include data and define its status, its methods of operation and how it interacts with other objects. Express or raise an objection or protest or criticism or express dissent. She never objected to the amount of work her boss charged her with. Grammar. A constituent that is acted upon. The object of the verb. The focus of cognitions or feelings. Objects of thought. Law, the determination by a court of competent jurisdiction on matters submitted to it. The act of judging or assessing a person or situation or event. They criticized my judgment of the contestants. The capacity to assess situations or circumstances shrewdly and to draw sound conclusions. The cognitive process of reaching a decision or drawing conclusions. The legal document stating the reasons for a judicial decision. The mental ability to understand and discriminate between relations. Law, the determination by a court of competent jurisdiction on matters submitted to it. An opinion formed by judging something. He was reluctant to make his judgment known. The act of judging or assessing a person or situation or event. The capacity to assess situations or circumstances shrewdly and to draw sound conclusions. The cognitive process of reaching a decision or drawing conclusions. The legal document stating the reasons for a judicial decision. The mental ability to understand and discriminate between relations. Law, the determination by a court of competent jurisdiction on matters submitted to it. An opinion formed by judging something. Identifying word or words by which someone or something is called and classified or distinguished from others. The act of designating or identifying something. The act of putting a person into a non-elective position. A determination of the place where something is. He got a good fix on the target. Informal terms for a difficult situation. He got into a terrible fix. Restore by replacing a part or putting together what is torn or broken. Put something somewhere, firmly. Fix your eyes on this spot. Make infertile. Decide upon or fix definitely. Fix the variables. Make ready or suitable or equip in advance for a particular purpose or for some use, event, etc. I was fixing to leave town after I paid the hotel bill. Take vengeance on or get even. That'll fix him good. The act of putting something in working order again. Prepare for eating by applying heat. Fix breakfast for the guests, please. Cause to be firmly attached. She fixed her gaze on the man. Make fixed, stable or stationary. Let's fix the picture to the frame. An exemption granted after influence, e.g., money, is brought to bear. Collusion resulted in tax fixes for gamblers. Influence an event or its outcome by illegal means. Fix a race. Kill, preserve, and harden tissue in order to prepare for microscopic study. Set or place definitely. Let's fix the date for the party. Something craved, especially an intravenous injection of a narcotic drug. She needed a fix of chocolate. The act of designating or identifying something. The process of recognizing something or someone by remembering. Evidence of identity. Something that identifies a person or thing. The attribution to yourself, consciously or unconsciously, of the characteristics of another person, or group of persons. The condition of having the identity, of a person or object, established. The thief's identification was followed quickly by his arrest. The act of validating, finding or testing the truth of something. Additional proof that something that was believed, some fact or hypothesis or theory, is correct. The act of validating, finding or testing the truth of something. The cognitive process of establishing a valid proof. The act of determining that something is false. Any evidence that helps to establish the falsity of something. The act of rendering something false is by fraudulent changes, of documents or measures etc., or counterfeiting. A willful perversion of facts. The act of determining that something is false. Any evidence that helps to establish the falsity of something. The act of determining that something is false. Determining again. The act of determining that something is false. The speech act of answering an attack on your assertions. His refutation of the charges was short and persuasive. The act of determining that something is false. Any evidence that helps to establish the falsity of something. The trait of being resolute. It was his unshakable resolution to finish the work. Analysis into clear-cut components. A formal expression by a meeting. Agreed to by a vote. A statement that solves a problem or explains how to solve the problem. Finding a solution to a problem. The ability of a microscope or telescope to measure the angular separation of images that are close together. Something settled or resolved. The outcome of decision-making. They never did achieve a final resolution of their differences. A decision to do something or to behave in a certain manner. He always wrote down his New Year's resolutions. Computer science. The number of pixels per square inch on a computer-generated display. The greater the resolution, the better the picture. Music. A dissonant chord is followed by a consonant chord. The subsidence of swelling or other signs of inflammation, especially in a lung. Finding a solution to a problem. A determination of the place where something is. Physiology. The principle that specific functions have relatively circumscribed locations in some particular part or organ of the body. A determination of the place where something is. Physiology. The principle that specific functions have relatively circumscribed locations in some particular part or organ of the body. A determination of the place where something is. The act of putting something in a certain place. A determination of the place where something is. The act of putting something in a certain place. A point or extent in space. A workplace away from a studio at which some or all of a movie may be made. They shot the film on location in Nevada. Theology, being determined in advance, especially the doctrine, usually associated with Calvin, that God has foreordained every event throughout eternity, including the final salvation of mankind. A mental determination or resolve in advance, an antecedent intention to do something. He entered the argument with a predetermination to prove me wrong. The act of determining or ordaining in advance what is to take place. The act of validating, finding or testing the truth of something. Any factual evidence that helps to establish the truth of something. If you have any proof for what you say, now is the time to produce it. Printing, an impression made to check for errors. Read for errors. I should proofread my manuscripts. Activate by mixing with water and sometimes sugar or milk. Proof yeast. A formal series of statements showing that if one thing is true, something else necessarily follows from it. A measure of alcoholic strength expressed as an integer twice the percentage of alcohol present, by volume. A trial photographic print from a negative. Need to reach proper lightness. Proof dough. Make or take a proof of, such as a photographic negative, an etching, or typeset. Make resistant to harm. Proof the materials against shrinking in the dryer. Used in combination or as a suffix, able to withstand. Temptation proof. The act of offering an improvement to replace a mistake, setting right. Chemistry, the process of refinement or purification of a substance by distillation. Determination of the length of a curve, finding a straight line equal in length to a given curve. The conversion of alternating current to direct current. Law, the findings of a jury on issues of fact submitted to it for decision, can be used in formulating a judgment.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.